tell me about the decision where a co-founder says, you know what, I started this thing, I got it going, but it's time for me to bring in a different CEO. Can you just share that with me? Share how that happened for you?
Yeah, so I think it's now I'll speak specifically to, I think, to our CEO, because he's been incredibly strong in a number of verticals. One, I think that one of my biggest strengths has been on kind of product, commercial, go-to-market, which is certainly a big part of growing the company. And so I knew that was a strength. I knew that was a place where I could deliver the highest amount of return. Two, I think that as we were scaling, an organization where we're looking at doubling again this year, right? I mean, I think our headcount this year is going to be 250, 260. I think there's a huge amount of internal organizational managerial structure that needs to come into place. And a lot of that, quite frankly, isn't that sexy. Right? There are organizational decisions, there's day-to-day management, there's HR decisions, and then there's, finding complementary skill sets. I've been very fortunate where Tom is, I think we're his fourth company he's been the CEO of. He's an incredibly brilliant, marketer, brander, which are things that I don't spend a lot of time on.
Okay.
And so, I think when you look at partners, operationally or life partners, right? You want to find people that have a complementary skill set. And so, I think as we were looking at, the board wanting to make, a particular change, I think we were looking at where there were needs within our organization specifically that we felt, Tom was going to be a kind of tremendous fit for in terms of, what we were going to need to scale over the next couple of years.
I really compliment the fact that, you were able to set your ego aside, which, by the way, a lot of co-founders can't do, which is why their companies stay small. You were able at some point to say, you know what, first of all, I'm going to take on all this cash, which eventually equals board members and equity changes and things like that. And then, you did that, and now you're dealing with the board, which you didn't have to do early on. And then you were able to say, you know what, I'm going to have somebody else be the CEO. I mean, all of that is a great tip for the listeners of the Riderflex podcast, because I think there's a lot of small entrepreneurial startup type guys out there that listen to our show. And because they were a co-founder, they're walking around with these giant egos, and they think they know everything, and they don't want to put anybody else in charge, and they stay small. I mean, eventually, if you want to scale, if you want to grow, you have got to, like you said, surround yourselves with people that can complement your skill set and let go just a little bit, or, you're not going to go anywhere. So my compliments to you to be able to do that, which I'm guessing, being an athlete, that's not always easy to do. I think as you scale, right, the goal is to hire more managers and hire more leaders that have incredibly complementary skill sets. Yes.
Right. If we look at our leadership team right now, we have folks from vastly different backgrounds that are internally at Socure solving vastly different problems for us, all of which combined are what are making us a force in the market.
The Riderflex podcast features entrepreneurs, business executives, and the stories behind how they got there, as well as daily tips on career advice and job interviews. Our show can be heard just about anywhere these days, but you can visit riderflex.com and click on the podcast page to hear all the previous episodes and learn more about the recruiting and consulting services we provide. Contact us at the email address info@riderflex.com or 888-964-5876. Thanks so much for listening, and if you enjoy our show, please be sure to subscribe to our channel and like the episodes.